never before made public. It's all about allegations a prominent local church knew its pastor was a pedophile and covered it up for years.
In May, police arrested Bob Gray, pastor for 38 years at Trinity Baptist. Gray took the church from a couple hundred members to more than 5,000. And many were shocked when Gray was charged with capital sexual crimes against 3 girls and 1 boy, now adults. And more than 20 women have now come forward saying Gray molested them as children. And police say Gray admitted to French kissing little girls. Tonight, our investigation starts on a typical Friday night. First Coast News anchor Jeannie Blaylock has more.
Number 1!
Number 1, baby, number 1 in Florida.
Friday night, it's football. And so-and-so's dating so-and-so. Fun stuff for Trinity Christian, known for sports, solid academics, and thousands of loyal worshipers. But what a contrast to this. Bob Gray shackled. 38 years as pastor, called one of America's greatest preachers and church builders. Now police say he's a child molester. But here's the salt in the wound. Accusations the current pastor at Trinity, Tom Messer, and other key leaders knew and covered it up for years and years. Tonight, for the first time, we're hearing from a woman who says she received a letter from Messer.
On behalf of our church, I apologize to you for the wrong that has been done to you.
Jane, as we'll call her, lives now in Maryland. The letter is signed in his service, Tom Messer. I took the letter to Trinity's lawyers. Attorney Ed Trent verified Messer did indeed write this letter. Jane says it's hard for her to speak out, but she went to Trinity for 14 years. And when she was in grade school,
he proceeded to kiss me on the mouth in a very passionate way. It scared me.
She says Bob Gray grabbed her arms and molested her in his office. The letter is dated a month before Gray's arrest. Jane says, look, in black and white, it says the church knew about Gray years ago and never went public. Quote, in 1992 and again in 1997, we dealt with the issue of his relationship with children.
They knew he was a pedophile.
In the letter, Messer also says, I have wrestled with trying to do the right thing in the face of this issue. But how much did Messer and top leaders truly know more than a decade ago? This woman we'll call Joanne. She's another alleged victim. Joanne says she knows firsthand there was a cover-up. And to her, seeing this photo, and especially that chair, is wrenching.
We were standing up. The first time was the kiss, and then being led over to that chair, and starting out sitting on his lap, and then reclining the chair and laying on him.
He'd have you lie down on top of him?
Yes.
Joanne says she was in 4th grade.
He was aroused, and I remember feeling that arousal.
She says Bob Gray molested her for years at Trinity. Finally, she tells me, as a young woman, she told key leaders at Trinity in the 1990s, even down to the alleged details, she felt Gray's erections lying on top of him as a little girl.
Why didn't one man stand up and say, this is not acceptable, and this is what we're going to do about it?
This man says he was a deacon at Trinity in the 1990s.
We thought we acted properly.
Rob, as we'll call him, says all the deacons were told about was Pastor Gray's inappropriate behavior. But Rob says, call it stupidity, call it ignorance, but back then he did not understand the gravity of kissing little girls.
I didn't know it was illegal.
Rob claims he knew nothing about allegations. It was more serious, touching little girls inside their panties. Now he says his heart goes out to the alleged victims, but for years he admits they were ignored.
When the girls tried to speak up about this, what happened?
These girls were looked upon as just scumbags, the dirt of the earth. How could they lie like this about Bob Gray?
I resigned because the truth wasn't told.
Pat and Dennis Cassell say they poured their lives into Trinity for 25 years. Trinity state champs in '92. Dennis started the athletic program at Trinity Christian. Football, basketball, and coach is still proud of folks at Trinity.
I don't want them to fail.
But the Cassells believe Messer and his tight circle deceived Trinity.
I feel betrayed.
And Messer?
He assured us that it was no big deal.
But then they talk with an alleged victim and family of others.
So you say that you went in the 1990s and sat down face-to-face with Tom Messer. Which year was that?
We went to him in '92, and then we went to him again in '97.
Pat says she kept these notes from their conversation. One topic, allegations the church shuffled Bob Gray off to Germany to be a missionary for 10+ years.
One thing we asked him was, are there no children in Germany?
And what kind of answer did you get?
Tom was just silent.
So how far does this alleged cover-up go? Did Trinity ever tell the mission board their missionary, Bob Gray in Germany, is accused of molesting little girls?
I contacted the Baptist Mission for Forgotten People, and a key leader confirmed to me they were never told a thing for all those years. In fact, he says they didn't find out until Bob Gray was arrested a few months ago.
I believe that they allowed this man to go on and continue to do the molesting of children.
Without doubt, serious allegations against Trinity and Pastor Tom Messer. We offered the pastor several chances to respond. Trinity's attorneys called me and politely said at this time they could not comment. Messer has put out this statement, though, on Trinity's website saying independent investigators hired by the church have found no indication of cover-up, either deliberate or unintentional. He also says the news reports and the criminal charges contain information and far more serious allegations than we had prior to Gray's arrest. Indeed, the criminal charges do involve allegations of digital penetration. But what was serious to Tom Messer? Wasn't the preacher kissing little girls serious enough? Still, though, in her heart, Joanne tells me she wants Trinity to thrive. However,
all my family and I have ever wanted was for them to tell the truth.
Trinity needs to come clean. They need to tell the truth.
Some of the alleged victims say what makes everything worse is seeing the church still supporting Bob Gray. Church members tell me Gray still lives in this house on the west side. He was arrested there in May. On the tax rolls, the sale price of the house, $222,000, and it is owned by Trinity.
The First Coast News investigation into Trinity and the alleged cover-up is on our website. Log on to firstcoastnews.com. Bob Gray is scheduled to go to trial November 27th. We are told, however, it will likely be delayed.